Yeah, I got this hat a couple months ago, and I was thinking, the only thing it's really missing is a really awesome hat band to go around the circumference right here. So today I'm going to be making a hat band out of this Burmese python that I have. I make this out of guitar straps and whatnot. So I've got about 9 feet here to work with, and we're going to make a hat band for this today. So the python is always a crowd pleaser. I've used this on several guitar straps for artists that play for L. Langley, Jackson Dean himself, and a couple of other projects. I'm going to take this band off first if I can. I'm going to just measure the circumference of the original band that this hat came with. And that'll be the easiest way for me to decide how much python I need to cut out, is just by going off the length of this. Okay, so it looks like this is going to be a pretty easy thing to figure out. I pulled this old hat band off, and you see the old glue right there, so just separate that. Boom. Okay, so move the camera here, and I will get some basic measuring tape. Okay, so right at 27 inches, and then it looks like down here there's I'm going to add another 3 inches right there just of overlap, so we'll do a total of 30 inches, and that should fit the entire circumference of the strap. So I'm going to use the outside edges of this python. I've used quite a bit of the outside edges on the rest of it, and I have the center of the back right here that has like the really scaly portions, but I really like the texture and design of the python on the outside edges. So what I'm going to do is just take this yardstick here, or this straight edge, and measure it up to 30. And all I'm going to do is just kind of trim off the jagged edges here and get a nice straight line. And that'll help me when I'm actually ready to cut my hat band. So I'm just kind of trimming the excess off here. Okay, so I've got this rotary from Tandy, super cheap, one of my most used tools. It's a 45mm rotary cutter. Just kind of line it up with that straight edge on the edge there. That way I have a nice clean edge to work with. Okay, and just kind of clean up the edges a little bit. I also want to measure the width of this as well as the circumference. So just take this up to my ruler here, and we look like we're at about 5/8 of an inch wide. So this python being white and the color it is kind of hard to mark as far as width, so I'm just going to go ahead and eyeball this. It doesn't have to be perfect. Also, I just think given the nature of a cowboy hat, so it's going to be dirty, kind of be rugged, so I'm okay with this not being perfect. So I'm going to eyeball 5/8 of an inch, 30 inches long, and I'm just going to roll with it. And if it's a little bit bigger, that's fine. I've got it all the way at 30 here. And it's okay to be a little bit longer. Actually, let's just go 31. Maybe even 32. Let's do 32. That way I've got a little bit more to work with. It's better to have more leather than not enough. Okay, because I can always trim, but I can never add. Okay, so there's my strip that I'm going to use. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful python. Okay, and then what I'm going to do for the edges here, just to give it a little bit of style, just kind of cut it at a little angle on either end here. I don't know what angle, but I'm just going to kind of start at the corner and work our way across. That way it's just not a squared edge. That. Nothing super fancy. And we should be ready to make sure that this measures the circumference of the hat. Alright, so put this around. I want it to meet up there in the middle. Okay, so I've actually got a little bit of excess, but that's okay. That's actually what I want. I don't want it to come out to where I don't have enough. So what I'm going to do is just take a black pen so it's easy to see on this white and make a small little mark right here. That way I know where my glue line is supposed to be. And then on the inside as well, I'll take this back and I know exactly how much to glue. So I'll just make a little mark right there. Nothing exact, nothing perfect, right? And I'm just going to go ahead and glue this with contact cement, and then I'm going to put it together and we're going to fit it over the hat. Okay, so now the glue portion, I'm just going to use this contact cement that I get from Maker's Leather Supply. Some of the best stuff that I've been able to find, and also really affordable. So I'll take a little bit of this, and just where that mark is that I made, I'll go ahead and put a decent amount of contact cement on that, and then we just let this tack up. Just on the opposite side of this, where I made that little black mark here, I'm just going to glue up to that point and then glue those two pieces together. Hey, all right. I tend to overglue just a little bit. I have a glue eraser, but again, just like measuring your leather, I'd rather have more glue than not enough. Cover all areas. And I'm going to let that part tack up as well, and then we'll glue it together and put it on our hat. Okay, so I've got both of the edges glued here, and all I'm going to do is just take this, start on the opposite side. Okay, kind of push that down around the circumference of the hat. Press that glue down as much as we can so we get a nice and tight bond with our glue. Make sure it's not going to go anywhere. So it's not super snug, but that's okay, because if I want to take it out and change something, I can. And that's our final product there. And I'll rub off some of that excess with a glue eraser, but overall, nice, easy project, super simple. I think it's a nice touch to a good hat.